Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I have my 2020 Project Pan finale. So this year I've been doing a year-long rolling style Project 10 pan, which basically just means each month of this year I had 10 products at a time that I was focusing on, and once I finished or met my goal on a product, I would roll something new in its place. So today I'm going to share all the progress that I made over the last month, like always, and then I'll also be wrapping up this year of project panning, sharing some final numbers and things like that. So this month I did finish 2 things, and I also made a lot of great progress on the rest of my items. I'm actually filming this update on December 27th. Normally I like to film it as close to the last day of the month as possible so I can make as much progress as I can, but I kind of wanted to end this a little bit early, like a few days early, just to give myself a few days to not be focusing on any project pan items so that I can think about what I want to include in my 2021 project pan. So I think it'll be nice to kind of have just a few days to regroup and just play with everything in my collection, and then we can start 2021 fresh with a new set of products. So let's go ahead and get into these updates. First, I've been working on a couple of cream stick cheek products. I have the Jordana Sculpt and Go contour stick and the Ulta face highlighting color stick. The Jordana contour stick I'm not finished with, but I am so close. I mean, there's just like the tiniest little nub of product left here. So I haven't decided 100% which of these things that are not done are going to roll into my next project pan, but I have a feeling this one will probably be included just because I really love this product and I don't think it'll take me too much longer to finish it. So really happy with the progress that I made on that. There actually are a handful of products from this month that I didn't meet my usage goal on. I think part of that is because I am ending this a few days early. Also because, I don't know, I don't think I did my makeup quite as many times this month as I normally do just because I've been really busy with Vlogmas. But this was one of them. My goal was to use this 20 times and I used it 18 times, so close enough. And then I have the Ulta Face Highlighting Color Stick in Pixie Dust. Progress on this has been a little bit slower than the contour stick. I think just because I have a lot more highlighters in my collection than I do contour products, so I'm fine with using this every day, but I do like to switch up my highlighter a little more often. Looking at the paper, I really made like the tiniest little bit of progress, but that I found is kind of just the way it is with these kind of chubby stick products. Since they are pretty wide, you really don't see a lot of progress each month, but after a few months, you will be surprised at how much you've actually used up. So I feel like, I mean, there's really doesn't look like there's that much left here. I still think it'll probably take quite a few more months to finish this up. I definitely made a lot more progress on this than I would have if I had not put it in my project pan this year. Next, I have a liquid eyeshadow that I've actually been using as a bronzer slash blush. This is the e.l.f. matte eyeshadow in the shade Soft Beige, and I definitely feel like I've made a lot of progress on this. This is the first month where I can really see through. There's like a little ring where I can see where I've scraped it from the sides. So I don't think this should take too much longer, especially using it as a cheek product. It definitely goes a lot faster than if I was just using it as an eyeshadow. I think I set myself up to be able to finish this in the earlier part of 2021. Another product that I came really close to finishing, but I'm still not quite there, the Wet n Wild blush in Rosé Champagne. This month I finally repressed this, and I desperately needed to because it was getting really hard to pick it up on my brush. And I just repressed it in the middle. I like to do that so that I can make sure that I'm able to get all of it out and I won't end up with it still in the corners once I use more of it. So this always happens. Now that I've repressed it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much product in here still. But I do think this should probably take another 2 months, I think, of like serious panning to finish it, but I can't believe I'm so close. Blush is one of those things that's really hard to use up. I didn't use up any blushes in 2020, but I'm happy that I'll at least have one blush empty in 2021. By the way, I did just post my 2020 makeup empties, all the makeup I used up this year, and I will link that below, but that was a really fun video. I love filming those videos, even though I can only do it once a year. It's so eye-opening to see like the tangible amount of products that you used up in a year. Pretty interesting. So one of the products that I finished, and you already know about this if you saw my 2020 makeup empties and also my last regular empties video, the Physicians Formula Healthy Powder. This took a surprisingly long time to pan. Powder used to be something that I could use up pretty quickly. I used to fly through powders when I think my skin was just more oily. I used more of it. Makes sense. Now that I'm done panning this, I haven't even been setting my face with powder, and I kind of realized this was sort of the culprit in a lot of my frustration with base products. Like, I was not satisfied with a lot of my foundations, And I kind of feel like this was a big part of that. I guess I just didn't quite realize how unnecessary powder is for me, and it's not necessarily a problem with this powder specifically, but now that I've stopped setting my face with powder, I'm so much happier with the way that my face and my skin looks with makeup on, so glad to be done with that. I kind of wish I hadn't suffered through it as much as I did, but I didn't realize that I was suffering through it at the time, if that makes sense. So anyway, glad to have it done, but if I could go back in time, I might not put this in my project pan because I think it was making me unhappy without me even realizing it. Next, I have a eyeshadow quad. This is the Wet n Wild Rosé Champagne eyeshadow quad. I wish that this wasn't so slow to pan, but with eyeshadow, I really like to switch it up. I don't like to wear the same eyeshadows every day. Even though these are shades that I can incorporate into a lot of looks, I just haven't been using it a ton. Although I did use every shade more than 5 times. My goal this month was actually to use each shade 10 times. The only shade that I did use 10 times was the transition shade, and I feel like you can definitely tell because that has been going pretty fast, and I probably will need to repress that soon. The other shades I used 8 times each, so not too bad, and I do feel like you can finally see some progress on the eyelid shade that I repressed a couple months ago. Last month I was like, oh my gosh, you can't even tell that I used it, even though I did. Now you can start to see a little more progress on that. So I'm probably going to take a break from panning this one, but I really do want to finish this in 2021. It's just been, I don't know why it's been so slow. I really just need to put my mind to it, but it's hard to do that without also getting a little bit bored. But I've come such a long way that I really don't want to declutter it. So my other empty this month was the Red Apple lipstick in Beachside. This was a huge accomplishment, especially because I didn't use this as a cream blush. I only used it as a lipstick. I didn't like this formula as a cream blush because it's so glossy. It just wasn't quite right for the cheeks, but it is a nice soft formula, so I do think that's why I was able to see good progress every month and it kept me motivated. But that is finished. I decided not to dig it out of there. I know there is still more, but I've basically leveled it out with the plastic, and I feel like I got my money's worth and I'm kind of over it. Even though I love this lipstick, I'm ready to call it done. So very proud. This was the 5th lip product that I used up this year. I used up 3 lipsticks, a lip gloss, and a lip liner this year, and that is more lip products than I have ever used up before in a year. Another thing that is close to finished, but it's gonna take probably another couple months to completely finish, is the Jordana Pore Refining Face Primer. So sad, by the way, that Jordana is going out of business. If you're watching this before December 31st, they are having a 50% off site-wide sale through December 31st. So if you've been wanting to pick up anything from Jordana, now is the time because they will no longer exist in a few days, which makes me so sad. I have so many products from them that I love, but this primer I actually don't love. It's kind of just whatever. I'm just using it up to use it up because I bought it, and it doesn't do anything bad, but it also doesn't really do anything good. So it's just kind of, I don't know, I'm just using it to use it up. But this is where we are on this. This has gone quite fast because it is a pretty small tube. It's only 0.68 fluid ounces. So I do feel like within another month or two, this will be finished. Okay, this one I only used once this month, and I think it was because of the 1 month 1 palette that I was focusing on, but the e.l.f. Liquid Glitter Shadow in Mermaid Shimmy. This is a sparkly green, and Stoned Vibes, which was my 1 month 1 palette for December, has a shade very similar to this, and so I just didn't have enough days in the month to use both as many times as I wanted to use both, so I only ended up using this once, which is fine. The real goal for me putting this in the project was to just use it more because it's, for some reason, these liquid glitter shadows just tend to go unused in my collection, so I wanted to kind of get ahead of that and make sure that I was using it before it started to dry out. So you really can't see any progress on this because it's all just kind of like stuck to the sides there, so I have no idea how much of this I used up, but I'm at least glad that I used it more than I probably would have over the last 2 months than if I hadn't rolled it into the project a couple months ago. So, and the last thing that I made tons of progress on, probably another couple months left of use and I'll be finished with it, the Jordana 12-Hour Made to Last eyeliner pencil. This is getting quite small. I mean, look at that little pencil. When I first put this in the project, I was like, you know, I'm probably not going to make much progress on this because I remember having this in my project pan for a short time last year and I hardly made any progress on it. But now I have just been using black pencil liner almost every day. I really like the effect of it. Today I have it in my waterline, and I didn't used to do that, but I really do like I don't know, it gives kind of like a sultry look that I don't normally go for. So I have been enjoying this. Also, I think the thing that has helped me go through this pretty quickly is that I do like for it to be pretty sharp when I use it. So I do sharpen it probably twice a week, which sounds like a lot. I don't really feel like I'm wasting a ton of product that way. I just, in order to get the application that I want, I do need it to be pretty sharp. So that's probably helped me go through it a little bit faster, but this is another thing that'll probably be done within the first few months of 2021 if I keep using it. So those are the updates on all 10 of those products. I'm very happy to be finished with 2 of them. And the other 8, I'm happy with the progress that I made. A lot of these are things that if I do decide to roll them over into my next project pan, like I said, I haven't decided for sure yet what's going to roll over and when I'm going to take a break from. But a lot of these things I think I could finish in another like 2 to 3 months if I put my mind to it. So that's exciting. I did want to just go ahead and wrap up this finale by sharing the total number of products that I used up in my project pan this year. I used up 17 makeup products through this project pan. So, okay, just to interject here, I wanted to say that I was wrong. I actually used up 18 things in the project pan. But one of them was a bronzer that was within a face palette. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was very early on in the year. And I didn't count that towards my yearly makeup empties because I didn't use up the entire palette. And I ended up giving the remains of that palette to my friend. So technically I used up 18 things if you count that bronzer. Just FYI. In total this year, I used up 27 makeup items and 17 of those were project pan items. So it's interesting. It's hard to say which of those things I would have used up had it not been for the project pan. I probably would not have used up nearly as many things as I did if I'd not put them in this project pan. So I would call that a huge success. I'm kind of sad that I didn't finish a ton of these 10 items this month for the finale, but at the same time, I think because this is a rolling project pan, it doesn't necessarily set us up to have like a ton of empties in the finale, but I still made lots of great progress this month, and I'm very excited for my 2021 project pan. I think I will enjoy the few days off from panning that I'll have. My 2021 project pan intro will be coming up in the first week of January, probably within the first few days. So definitely make sure to stay tuned for that. I will link my entire 2020 project pan playlist below. I also recently did a project pan tips to set you up for success in your project pan, so check that out as well. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I'd love to see you again soon, and hopefully I will talk to you tomorrow in my next video. Bye.